We've known that the giant squid existed since time immemorial, but until the last century or so, it was pretty well impossible to get a good look at one. Much of the time, the only reason we knew they existed was because we saw evidence of them when sperm whales that we caught often had giant sucker marks all over them. That's how we learned that giant squid and sperm whales are mortal enemies. Before we sorted all of that out, their mysterious existence gave us stories of the Kraken and all the rest. By 1977, we knew what they were and more or less how they behaved. Dead ones and pieces of dead ones would wash up on shore here and there, which gave us a chance to study their structure, DNA, and all that good stuff. But they still carried enough of a mystique to make a good monster for us today.
Deep in the depths of the Philippine Sea, strange experiments are taking place in the remote underwater laboratory of Dr. Pisces.
Dr. Pisces. That's cute.
This electrode device we've implanted will enlarge this squid to 20 times its size.
Why?
And when we set him loose, the device will cause his ink to spread and enlarge all other marine life to enormous proportions.
And again I say, why? In the first place, it's a predator. It wouldn't be interested in inking anything, especially if it's that big. It'll be interested in eating. And by the way, squid eat those other fish. They only ink when they're startled or scared. If it's 20 times the size it was in that tank, it's going to need to gobble up every fish it encounters just to stay alive. Again, what is the point of all this?
We're going too far, Dr. Pisces. Giant sea life could create havoc all over the world.
Nonsense. My discovery will solve the world's food shortage.
He thinks enlarging all the creatures of the deep will solve the world's food problem. I need to make an announcement. There is plenty of food for everybody in the world. The only shortages come because of greed. Someone thinks they're more important than the people who are hungry and decide to keep all the food for themselves or sell it to people who can pay big. The starving poor aren't in that category, so they do without. That is the source of food shortages, evil people. And for a scientist, this guy seems totally ignorant of a very important word, ecosystem.
Soon the oceans of the world will be teeming with mammoth fish.
And they'll all starve because there isn't enough food out there to sustain fish that big. His assistant has had enough.
Super friends, Philippine Sea need help. Giant squid creating monster fish. You've got to stop Dr. Pisces.
So, you have betrayed me.
The brilliant professor couldn't see that coming. I think this guy overestimates himself. Superman and Aquaman will head to the Philippine Sea to deal with the squid.
I've never seen so many whales in this area before.
Superman, those aren't whales. They're monster-sized tuna.
Then the message we received was true.
You thought maybe he was lying about this? What reason would he have to do that?
Meanwhile, a luxury ocean liner steams peacefully along, completely unaware of the fate that awaits it.
By 1977, ocean liners were a bit of an anachronism. A ship was defined as an ocean liner because it followed a particular route or line, and the idea was to get people from point A to point B across the ocean. This is different from a cruise ship. They aren't intended for transport. They're intended for pure enjoyment, and they don't follow a line that defines their reason for existing. The ocean liner was the preferred method of crossing the ocean when you needed to, and the more luxury the better. This is what Titanic was supposed to be. The problem came with a new invention that sort of made the ocean liner a little archaic. That invention came to be called the airplane. if you could fly across the Atlantic in hours instead of sailing across in days, well, guess what most people chose? That led to the cruise ship idea, the same luxury, but there's nowhere to go that you don't want to go. If you're interested in the subject, I can heartily recommend the channel Ocean Liner Designs, hosted by the delightful Mike Brady. He has a cool, easygoing delivery, and the man knows his stuff. Let me digress for just a moment to say if I recommend a channel, it's because I like it and I think it's worth sharing. As you may know, I don't do sponsors, paid promotions, or any of that stuff. I don't operate like that. I suggest Mike's channel because it's excellent and informative. There's nothing in this for me except knowing that I probably turned someone onto a channel they're really gonna like. And by the way, whether it's an ocean liner or a cruise ship or a glorified dinghy, that squid has no reason to grab it like that. It's a good thing the Super Friends are nearby.
Everyone, to your staterooms. Secure the ship watertight. If it goes down, we'll be safe till help arrives.
You know, that would be a good idea for all ships. It's definitely a good idea for this one because Squidly Diddly on steroids does pull it down below the surface.
Help! We're underwater!
Save us!
Who are they yelling at? Who do they think is going to hear them besides people who are literally in the same boat? Aquaman can't command this thing, so they have to do it the hard way.
No good. That only makes him try to crush the ship.
It's not exactly stronger than Superman, but until most of those suckers release, he won't be able to pull an arm loose without hurting the squid. So never mind.
Our only chance is to make that squid small again.
Right. And there's only one person who can do that. Dr. Pisces.
It doesn't take long for Superman to locate Dr. Pisces' facility and pay him a visit.
Superman!
Yes, Dr. Pisces. And you must stop your giant squid. It's pulled a cruise ship to the bottom.
Unfortunate. But what are the lives of a few compared to the millions who will benefit?
It's easy for him to say that as long as he's not one of those lives that gets sacrificed. Funny how that works.
Help! Let me out!
There's someone behind that door.
The squid can be stopped with this, Superman. Attach this to the squid's electrode device, and it will return to normal size.
Then let's go attach it. But Pisces is determined to stop him. He heads out in the submarine following Superman. Let's see him follow that.
There is one thing that will put a stop to Superman. And that's a kryptonite ray!
Well, fiddlesticks, he did follow it. And of course he has kryptonite. We've learned before that they sell it in bulk at the local big box store. While he keeps Superman from sinking to the ocean floor, Aquaman deals with that ray.
Instantly, Aquaman's telepathic powers summon a school of electric eel.
My power! It's been shorted out!
Just go with it.
You won't get away that easy, Dr. Pisces.
And again I say, attaching that doohickey to the squid shrinks it back to normal size, and the giant fish it created are never mentioned again. Superman carries the ship back to the surface, though if it was buttoned up tight and had plenty of air in it, it seems to me it should just go boop like a tennis ball.
I hope someday Dr. Pisces will realize how misguided his goals were.
Though his intentions were noble, he would have jeopardized the entire ocean's ecological balance.
Right. And who'd want to eat a 100-pound shrimp cocktail?
Right here, please. It might take me a few days, but I can eat a lot of shrimp. They're one of my favorite seafoods. Look, the smallest fish and other creatures, the beginnings of the food chain, eat plankton and algae. His squid didn't amplify those. So if those feeder fish are 20 times their normal size, their food supply is going to run out quick and they'll die. That means no food for the bigger fish and they die, and no food for the even bigger fish. You get the idea. It's called a food chain because each link depends on the one before it. If you break one or more of those links like he was doing, ultimately it means no food for us. Dr. Pisces failed to look that far ahead to the consequences of his actions. It's probably no surprise that I have a story. This one comes from my dad. The protagonist was a friend of his. Anybody who has ever tried panning for gold knows that they're going to find way more iron filings, black sand as we used to call it, than gold. If you're still uncertain what I'm talking about, did you ever play with one of these? That's what that stuff is, tiny bits of iron. The molecules have arranged themselves into little needle-like structures, and they're magnetic, as we can see. Well, this friend of my dad's found a place where he could sell the stuff for an amazing price. So he bought a piece of earth-moving equipment of some kind. That part was unclear, but it had a boom on it to which he attached a giant magnet. He drove it down to the riverbank and started swishing it around. Soon it was so covered in iron filings he couldn't see the magnet, and he was rejoicing in his soon-to-be-had wealth. Until he suddenly realized this was an ordinary magnet. It wasn't an electromagnet. He had all this stuff on it and no way to get it off so he could sell it. The magnet was so strong the filings wouldn't come off no matter what he did. He wound up walking away, leaving the whole mess by the river to deteriorate and be reclaimed by nature. Dr. Pisces reminds me of that guy. They both could benefit from pondering the phrase, think it through.
I won! Let's do it again. This time with no hands. Batman and Robin, wanna watch us race? This time we're gonna do it with no hands.
Hey, isn't that dangerous?
Well, gives you a chance to show what a good bike rider you are.
The only thing showing off does is give you a chance to get hurt.
Hadn't thought about that. You're right, thanks.
It didn't occur to her that riding without hands could get them hurt. Maybe someone needs to get her some training wheels just in case.
Hey, out of my way, Mel.
That's my parking place, Lance. I always park here.
So what? I was here first. I'm taking it. And I got the muscles to back it up.
You wouldn't be so brave if you didn't have muscles. Anyway, I got a better way to solve this problem. A game of chicken in my dad's boots.
As they drove off to decide who gets the parking space, some other guy pulled into it and lived happily ever after.
Beat that, Wonder Brother.
Nothing to it, Super Sis. Watch this super strike.
Looks like your super strike was a super strikeout.
I'm calling defective ball. He gets another chance. Never mind. The alert is going off.
Attention Wonder Twins! We just received a report that 2 teenagers are headed for Stone River to play chicken with speedboats.
We'll take care of it.
The best way is to stop it before it starts.
The Wonder Twins. Right! And we're here to see that you two don't get in any trouble.
There must be a better way to work out your differences than a dangerous game of chicken.
Why, sure. We'll shake hands and make up.
Good.
After I cream him on the river.
Or not. And these guys really are stupid teenagers.
We head full speed for the waterfall. The first one to turn away is chicken.
Sure thing. Chicken.
I'm sure they understand that waterfalls and boats don't mix, but there are some other things they might need to know.
This is stupid.
I won! Oh no! The steering cable broke!
Look! He's out of control!
He's gonna crash!
One of those things he might need to know: the closer you get to the waterfall, the stronger the current is that's pulling you toward it. It might even be strong enough to snap your steering cable if you try to turn too hard. It's an extinct possibility.
Ahem.
I was expecting this.
You said extinct possibility. I believe you meant distinct.
No, I meant extinct. It's what he's going to be in a few seconds.
Oh? But just a minute.
Of course, that won't happen on this show. We saw the Wonder Twins up above them. Gleek, will you do the honors?
Shape of an ice ramp!
Looks like that boat's gonna need some brakes. Form of a walrus!
Nice work, Jaina! That's what I call sinking your teeth into a problem.
And since her jaws are otherwise occupied, she can't even say, "Fishy then, real fishy."
It sure was dumb to risk our lives just to prove who's the bravest.
I hope you've learned a lesson from this, son. It'll be 1 year before you can use those boats again.
I guess next time I'll think twice before I do something crazy.
He'll still do the something crazy, but he'll think twice first.
Aquaman, what are you doing here?
Giving the first clue to the secret code. Want to see if you can guess what the code word is?
Sure do. I love trying to figure out the Super Friends codes.
The first part of the code has 2 clues.
Okay, give me the first of the 2 clues.
You're sitting in it.
Seat. What's the second part?
What's the second?
That's it right there.
Seat go. I'll guess seat go vroom when she hits the gas. I'm really good at this.
The mid-Atlantic, where freighters peacefully navigate the ocean, unaware that lurking many fathoms below is the command ship of the master undersea menace, Manta.
Atom charging capacitors at full power, Manta.
Excellent. Soon I will rule the oceans of the world.
Everything I could find says this is Black Manta with a new hat. He behaves like Black Manta, he talks like Black Manta, and he's only just Manta here in Super Friends. Why? You're asking me? So what's he going to do this time? He made a big geyser. I don't get it.
Water Beast, seize the freighters!
Okay, so it's a geyser with an attitude.
Engine room, give me all you've got.
Using some clever evasive maneuvers, that ship gets away. Manta will have to be satisfied with the 2 he has. We see the crews all over the water in lifeboats to reinforce the fact that nobody dies on this show, and then the water beast drags the ships down to the bottom where Manta is waiting.
Success, Manta! Your water beast has captured 2 freighters.
But one got away. My water beast is not yet perfected, but soon it will be, with the help of my arch foe, Aquaman.
How the water beast is doing isn't the question. What does he plan to do with those ships? Soon enough, the Super Friends are on their way to see about this creature.
Moments later, the Super Friends begin their search for the Water Beast.
I wonder if the Wright brothers started like this.
It's time you started looking, brother dear.
Oh, let's talk about missed opportunities. She's a pelican. Why aren't the other 2 riding in her mouth?
There's Aquaman, just like you wanted, Manta.
Yes, but Superman is too close. A water beast will keep him busy.
He's right. The water beast rises up and poses a threat to Aquaman, so Superman flies over to defeat it.
I have to stop it before it can reach those ships. My super strength is useless against this creature.
He just has to figure out how. He turns on the heat vision, and as it begins to steam, it retreats back into the ocean. Superman says, so much for that. He turns the heat vision off, and it comes back. Overconfidence always was a problem for him.
It's Manta. I've spotted Manta's ship. He must be the one behind this water monster. I'm going after him.
With his undersea telepathy, Aquaman summons a school of electric eels.
No electricity, Manta. The controls are dead.
Manta says, don't worry about it. Aquaman is right where I want him, and I'm ready for him.
My telepathic scrambler will stop Aquaman's mental orders to his fish friend.
That ray, it's breaking down my communication with the fish.
Quick, activate Manta Net.
But capturing Aquaman is only the first stage of his plan. Well, yeah, we still have lots of cartoon left to fill. Oh yes, about the time that net snagged him, Aquaman figured out that this was a trap.
You'll never succeed, Manta. The Super Friends will soon stop your water beast.
Don't bet on it, Aquaman. That special cage you're in will electronically duplicate your superpowers on computer tape, which I will transfer to my water beast, making him invincible. Nothing will stop him.
There's no such thing as invincible. There's always someone who will find a way to vince you.
Attention, Super Friends. As you can see, Aquaman is my prisoner.
Jupiters! He's locked up in Manta's brig.
My water beast will soon attack La Paz Island. I challenge you to stop him, so the world can see that even you are powerless against him.
La Paz Island. There's no such place. La Paz is a city on the east coast of Baja California, and there are a couple of islands associated with it, but they have their own names. However, we know they make up place names in this show, so I'm not sure why today should be different. La Paz Island is a popular beach vacation spot.
It's using my telepathic powers to call a herd of whales.
The water beast is commanding the whales to batter down the pier.
I'm not sure what that pier ever did to him, but Manta seems to be mad at it. The Wonder Twins are on the job.
Form of a whale!
Shape of a water spout. You're a typical woman driver, Jaina.
Cool it, Wonder Brother, or I'll inhale!
Inhaling him when he's made of water would be worse for her than it would for him. At least that herd of whales knows when the task at hand is too much work and it's time to go home.
Superman to Wonder Woman, prepare your ice ray. I'll use my super cooled breath and we'll freeze the water beast solid.
Roger.
The water beast is beginning to freeze.
The laws of physics being what they are, yeah, ice isn't strong enough to maintain that shape and pose, so it got away again. Along the way, it makes a nice big wave that the Super Friends have to save some people from, but all in all, they met Manta's challenge and stopped it.
My water beast has outwitted your Super Friends. He's returned to his element, the winner.
Keep your bluster, Manta. The beast failed at his task of doing damage to the island. The Super Friends did what you dared them to do. That doesn't equal your monster winning. Shall I draw you a picture?
You've proved your point, Manta. Now, what are your demands?
As ruler of the seas, I forbid any ship to leave port without my permission and without paying a heavy tribute.
I guess the only people who don't know the Super Friends are defeated are the Super Friends.
That was really great.
Sure was. Now, do you think you know what the first part of the code word is?
Uh-huh. Ready for the clue to the second part.
Okay, it's on that sign over there.
A boat. Is boat the second part of the code?
No, but another word for boat is. See if you can figure it out while we take another lap.
Seat, go, and another word for boat. This is impossible. There's a zillion other words for boat. Seat goes steamer. Seat goes schooner. Seat go dinghy. That has possibilities. Seat goes...
And so I, Manta, will rule the oceans of the world from here on out.
Holy embargoes! No ship can sail without that being's permission.
Right, and that's just how we'll trap Manta and rescue Aquaman.
This is too easy. Superman and Wonder Woman will work a charity event that makes Manta think the Super Friends are occupied. Meanwhile, an unauthorized ship will sail from New York with the dynamic duo and the Wonder Twins hidden in a waterproof crate. The Beast will take them right to Manta's lair.
Holy grottos, Batman! We're in some kind of undersea cavern.
I've got the exact location on my Bat gyro compass. Batman calling Wonder Woman and Superman. No response. Not even static.
The dome of the cavern must be blocking your signal.
Looks like we'll have to take care of Manta alone.
Is that a problem?
First, the guards. Prepare bat boomerangs.
Bat boomerangs, not batarangs? Maybe he's trying to teach Robin not to use so many contractions.
Look out!
And now we're in a Scooby-Doo knockoff. Which one of you is the one who's always stoned?
Watch out! Gangway!
Remember when I asked if doing this alone was a problem? Apparently it was. Rather than just take out a knife, Batman will use some kind of freeze gadget to make the strands brittle enough to break. Because doing it the easy way is cheating.
It's time for you two to take a dip.
I think Manta's figured out that they outsmarted him.
Man is escaping!
Not if we can help it!
I'll search for Aquaman up front. You take the rear.
Wonder Twin powers, activate!
Form of steam.
Nice. He can go anywhere that way and nobody notices. Jaina turns into a mosquito. If she comes around here, I may not be able to keep her from meeting some of my spider friends.
Aquaman!
Zan, where's Jaina?
Right here, Aquaman! Wonder Twin powers, deactivate!
Quick! There's a button that opens the cell.
Which button?
Obviously this one.
Obviously.
The alarm! Someone's in the brink!
Does it seem like Zan is the screw-up and Jaina is the smart one? That's by design, and in 1977 it made sense. For decades the pendulum had been over here, women should be in the kitchen. Beginning in the 60s, women said, we don't want to be in the kitchen, we want to go out and do stuff. Men said, you can't do that. Women said, watch us. Hollywood followed the trend and started making women the leaders and men the weak-witted followers. This is how it goes with people. The pendulum starts here, but when it gets moving, it goes clear over here. It needs to be here in the middle. Nearly 50 years after this, we're still trying to get it there. I probably won't get to see us reach it, but I hope my daughters will. Jaina finds the right button, and Aquaman is loose.
Now we've got to find the computer tape with my powers on it.
Sorry, I have to interfere with your plans. You've interfered with mine long enough. Too bad you won't be around to see my water beast destroy New York City.
New York City! He drops that cylinder deep into the ocean where water pressure is threatening to crush it. Aquaman knows what to do.
Answering Aquaman's call, two giant jellyfish lift the canister from the treacherous depths to safety at the surface.
Again, just go with it. The monster is headed for New York City.
New York City!
Oh, stop that. But the Super Friends have a plan to beat it for good. While Superman keeps it occupied and Wonder Woman lays down a smoke screen so Manta can't see what's happening, Batman has a cool new attachment for the Batcopter.
With the Batcopter's suction hose connected to dozens of railroad tank cars, Batman and Robin put the next part of the plan into action.
Activate bat pumps.
Roger. It's working, Batman.
Once he's separated into the tank cars, he won't be able to join together again.
And Manta can't create a new one with his machine, I guess. He only gets one machine BEM per episode. Wait, machine BEM was yesterday. The Wonder Twins are the next phase.
Shape of the Water Beast.
Hidden in the center of Zan's duplicate water beast, Aquaman awaits the final phase of their plan to capture Manta.
As usual, Manta assumes the Super Friends have been defeated because he can't see them at the moment. He needs to find a better line of work. He's not very good at this evil genius stuff.
You are magnificent! Together we will triumph over the world!
Guess again, Manta!
Aquaman! No! Impossible! The Super Friends! They've defeated my water beast!
That's not all. Aquaman will take care of the wrap-up.
Don't expect telepathic help, Aquaman! I'm scrambling your mind waves!
Too late, Manta! My undersea friends already have their orders!
It could be worse, Manta. They could be 20 times their normal size, and then where would you be?
The water beast has been returned to its natural state. Manta's fiendish device has been dismantled.
But the Navy is keeping the blueprints in case we ever need such a weapon in the future.
How you coming on the code?
You said I was in the first part of the first clue, so that had to be car.
You mean it's not... but...
And the second part of the first clue.
Right up there, the word go, making the first clue cargo.
And the second clue?
Another word for boat, ship. So the whole code word is cargo ship.
Fast thinking.
I'm not fast enough to beat you around the track.
Moving on.
Today's magic trick is called scissor sorcery, and this seemed like the perfect place to show it to you. I'm going to snip the ends off this sealed envelope. Then I slip a cardboard strip through the envelope. I'll now cut the envelope in two without harming the cardboard at all. See? The cardboard has magically remained intact. Check with me in a few minutes and I'll tell you how the trick is done.
Figuring this one out was easy after he explained it. Our final story begins with an alien ship that's having trouble. It finally crash lands inside an active volcano.
It will be taken care of.
Samurai and I will leave immediately.
Samurai is another character created especially for this series. The idea of him, Apache Chief, and some others was to introduce some diversity to the cast, which I can see in 1977. Let's face it, the Super Friends look like a walking white sail for President's Day. Unlike some of the others, Samurai endured. He'll be back several more times and even made some appearances in the comics. So let's see what he's about.
Kasino yo Nihayaku!
Using his powers of the mind, Samurai changes into the wind.
He changes into the wind and Zan can change to a cloud. I see a winning combination there. And incidentally, does anybody know what he said? They need to get moving because the ship is sinking in the lava.
Hurry! We have not much time. Once our ship completely sinks in the lava, we will not survive.
The circuitry is completely burned out. We have little chance. Request permission to radio for help.
Permission denied. The people of Earth may be dangerous. We cannot let them capture our spaceship.
The people may be dangerous. The lava is dangerous. Do the math, Commander.
The spaceship, Superman.
I'm going down. Be ready.
A flying Earth being is headed straight for us. Activate defense beam!
Is this cartoon a lesson about paranoia? Whatever that beam is, Superman can't get past it. It doesn't have enough substance to break it, and it's too boingy to fly through it.
Perhaps we can communicate with them. Attention, spacecraft!
We pose no threat. We have come only to assist you.
What if these Earth beings speak the truth?
It is our only hope. We cannot take the chance. Get back to work.
They already told him it's pointless, but he's determined to make them do the impossible. Seems to me it might be time for a small mutiny.
Now to explain the scissor sorcery trick. Prepare by making a cardboard strip that is narrower and longer than the envelope. Seal the envelope and make 2 slits in the back that will let the cardboard pass through. Now, when you perform the trick, you just snip off the ends of the envelope, slip the cardboard through the slits like this, and then cut the envelope, but you don't cut the cardboard. Magic? Not really, but that's the trick.
That's actually pretty clever. It'd be even more effective if instead of pulling the thin strip out, you separate the 2 halves of the envelope, put them back together, and then pull it out. So what's it going to take to get through to this guy?
Tome Ningen!
Calling out the Japanese words for invisible, Samurai slowly disappears.
I'll take your word for it, though that may or may not be a good idea.
With my invisibility, I can approach the spacecraft unnoticed and attach this cable.
Then I can haul the craft out of the lava.
He rappels down to the ship, but they have detectors on the hull.
Switch on forward monitor.
No sign of anyone, sir.
The sensors never lie. Activate the defense system.
The sensors were wrong. There's nothing in the trap.
Do not be afraid. I have come to help.
Reminds me of several stories in the Bible where some humongous angel suddenly pops up in front of somebody and immediately says, "Don't be afraid." Right.
He lies. He tried to come aboard undetected.
Because you wouldn't let him do it any other way. Duh. It's good to know the Peter principle operates on other planets too.
Something's gone wrong. I've got to find Samurai. There he is, and they've captured him. I've got one chance. Superman to Samurai. Knock out their defense beam. I'm coming down.
I have an old Japanese trick that will get me out of here.
He learned it from an old Japanese. Hey, he said it.
Higa moe! A fire!
Quick, the extinguishers!
That fire is just an illusion. Now, to find the right switch.
Don't bother, Earthman.
Thank you for turning off the defense beam.
Superman lifts them out of the lava.
Thank you for saving us, Super Friends. And I am sorry for my mistrust of other beings. But at least now we have friends on Earth.
No matter how hard you tried not to. Our introduction to Samurai was brief. I know from the sources that today he has a full backstory and all, but for this introduction, what we got was what we have. I get the feeling he's the master of some ancient art. And speaking of art, Samurai's disembodied head flying through the air on a little wisp of wind makes me laugh every time. It's less than 2 seconds long, and it's the kind of thing that stays with you because it's just so silly.
Missed again. Try another shot.
Nah, it's no use. I just can't do it. Every time I look at the balls, they get all blurry and fuzzy.
Have you told your folks you're having trouble seeing?
No.
It's important to tell your parents right away about any changes in your vision. Blurring of close or far objects, or double vision, ought to be checked by an eye doctor. Let's talk to your folks about this.
Right on, Wonder Woman.
How many people have each of us known that this happened to? Home Improvement even did an episode about it. Take care of your eyes, because we don't carry any spares. We've had better overall episodes. In particular, if we're going to have Black Manta, have Black Manta. Then again, there were lots of copyright arguments going on over various characters around this time, so maybe he got caught in one of those. The way their friends defeated the water beast was clever, and it was established that the machine was what held it together and gave it intelligence. Once the machine was off, it became a bunch of tank cars of water. I do enjoy the Wonder Twins stories. Those really get creative with the kids' powers, but stay within the boundaries of their powers. That's a major plus for me. Wonder Woman was underused in the main story, but that happens to each of them from time to time, so it's not a big deal. Right now, Samurai taught me one of his tricks. Let's see if this works. Takuya Yamashiro! Hey, it worked. Okay, Samurai, how do we get visible again? Samurai? Samurai? Samurai! Was because we saw good grief, really? We've known since local big box, good grief.